Welcome to A Hero's Rest, the game where you build up a sad plot of land into a teeming metropolis, crafting weapons, managing stores, growing farms, and being in huge amounts of debt. I think I'm done for. This game is super fun, so please subscribe, sit back, and enjoy. I received a letter on day one.
Greetings, I write with pleasure to inform you, you've been...
Apparently, this beautiful plot of land, named the Hanging Gardens, was mine to develop. It consisted of a middle area and the 2 spaces above it. Crossing some bridges was 2 more spots to the left, and heading behind a waterfall was 2 more spots to the right. After exploring, I got to work constructing my first building, an inn for passing travelers. I needed a counter, a stockpile, and a quest board.
Unlock a second workshop in a different lot.
Heading up the hill and purchasing another plot, I built up another store, designating it as the blacksmith.
Nice. Okay, it's not bad. It's just a quaint little place. Now I can add my little quest board here. There we go. Our journey begins.
Finally, it was time to get some heroes. You see, the Weapon Master had just arrived, where you can choose a
core attribute. Intelligence. I'm gonna do that.
A weapon.
I reckon for now I'll just go dagger, to be honest.
A name.
Small lad.
And a badge for your new hero class. Once this was complete, the Weapon Master will head off and recruit people that fit this criteria. While I waited my new citizen's arrival, a new shop was my main goal, purchasing another cheap piece of land and beginning construction. I put down a floor, some walls, and decided to make the shop a tanner.
Nice, I have a tanner now.
This was where my heroes could purchase medium armor, helmets, pauldrons, and quivers. The store fully completed and expecting people to arrive soon, I headed to my inn and crafted my first food, some cake, apples, and ice cream. Only the most nutritious foods for my Samaritans. And speak of the devil.
Yo, it's my first visitor, bro. Nilfears, the small lad.
Now that someone had arrived, my goal was to gear them up. So opening the forge, I crafted up 2 daggers.
Normal. Ooh, rare, let's go, bro.
When crafting, there's a chance to get a broken, normal, uncommon, rare, epic, or legendary weapon, which are accompanied by appropriate buffs.
That's huge. Baby steps. Well, actually, since my first guy is here, I might as well build some quests for
This is the quest book, where you can decide the difficulty, reward, and location for a quest to send your heroes on. And while Nilfear headed to the blacksmith, I spent some time decorating the inn area with benches, fences, and a bush. On top of this, a new person had just arrived.
Oh, who's this? Tilly, a visitor. Okay.
Tilly was a visitor. They can't complete quests and leave after a quick visit, only there to purchase goods. So, needing another hero, I was in luck when one entered
Oh,
the
third
town.
you in our second small lad. Make yourself at home. Oh man, this bridge is terrifying.
My town beginning to take shape, I got a message from a lady named Cecile, who really just yapped on, but I think I got the general message.
Okay, if I add furniture, I'll get more money. I think that's what she's saying.
I was checking out the right island when a message popped up notifying me that a trader was planning to visit.
Who is this trader you speak of? Who did he betray? To get it?
His name was Sam and could buy anything I had and sold an impressive catalog of every resource in the game. So I sold some bad food and purchased 3 pieces of leather. You see, leather is super useful early game, being used in a lot of low tier weapons, armor, and gear. It was also the reason I got a tanner, which sells less useful items early game so early. You see, with a tanner, I could get the rabbit trap, a farm that could passively supply me with the precious resource.
Okay, nice. My rabbit traps are finally set, and now they can just give me infinite leather, basically. I also need a potion shop. A pockethy.
I couldn't afford anything like that yet, so after having Arvin join the team, I cooked some food, which has a similar quality system to other gear, to make some money. And continuing on this money trend to afford a potion shop, I got to work decorating the tanner. This would hopefully upgrade the shop quality, resulting in more visitors and thus funds. Maxing out the decoration in the store and returning to the inn, I noticed something. I didn't have the money to pay my daily taxes.
Oh.
Luckily for me, the king was nice enough to supply me with some backup coins, but it came at a price. In exactly 8 days, goblins would invade the town and take a huge amount of golden resources. Luckily, that's a problem for me 8 days in the future. My current concern was spending the king's pocket money as quickly as possible, so
Oh, it's 5.8. Never mind, I can't even spend every penny.
Instead, since my rabbit traps were so slow, I set up some new leather gathering quests, watched a new visitor enter my town, as well as a new hero, Krivros. At which point, I made an unfortunate realization. I couldn't supply him with a weapon, and heading over to the leather farms.
Oh, these lads are not gonna make it, dude.
Checking back on Krivros, he was walking to the blacksmith, expecting a dagger.
Damn, bro.
As a last-ditch effort, I checked the farms again. Wait a moment, they're really close. Kuros still hadn't arrived, so carefully monitoring, I paused time as soon as they both finished, setting them both to collect once time restarted. Returning to the blacksmith, I let them harvest, repaused, and crafted 3 daggers with Kuros right outside the door.
Here you go, my friend. I got you some daggers.
Expanding my leather farm, I decided to spend some of my new funds on expanding the inn, so I set a foundation, added walls, and decorated the new communal area for alcohol consumption. The weapons master had arrived, and I could request stronger heroes thanks to my Tanner.
Headgear. Oh, battle boy.
Choosing the badge and attribute for the battle boys, I flew over, collecting the naturally spawning resources on the map, rearranging my Tanner a little, collecting some leather, and expanding the farm once again. Using the new leather, I crafted 4 daggers, and seeing how bland the store was, I got to work decorating the blacksmith. Adding a new back room for storage and adding a stockpile was all that I needed. Very thankfully, seeing my financial situation. Tax time came around, putting me in the red. My only savior could be the weapons master getting me some more heroes, or how I put it,
I'm gonna need my boy to get some lads.
Thank you, Red TM. Very insightful. While I waited, I appreciated the scenery across the canyon, crafted some armor, laughed at my innkeeper.
Jeez, native 1632 did.
Until I noticed my first hero, Nilfear, was back.
Yo, you came back, bro. Did you finish your quest?
He purchased some juice, took a seat, and after eating, his challenge rating went up. You see, this number is basically your hero's overall strength, depending on current health level and gear. And basically, it determines which quests that they can go on. Speaking of quests, I had received an unfortunate notification.
No, Kuriros died. Wait, no, he's the dagger guy.
I was really sad, you can
devastating.
tell by how much I was crying. Luckily, he was immediately replaced by my first battle boy, another lad named Nilfear. Needing to gear him up, I crafted up some proper swords, collected some leather, and crafted even more swords in anticipation. But that night, something unfathomable happened. I was contacted by the king himself, a godly figure out of reach for us mere humans. What could his request possibly be?
He wants 6 weed. Okay.
Completing it, I collected my reward and noticed Regenhild had joined the roster. They would truly go on to do great things. Yes, this is foreshadowing. You should totally subscribe. Gaining a bunch of money thanks to Nilfear's endless pockets and expanding the leather farm again, I noticed that I could afford the adjacent plot of land. Surprisingly, making the intelligent financial decision and waiting for more funds, I got a message saying a storm was forming, meaning no more visitors for the time being. This was unfortunate seeing how close I was to a spell shop, but I did see what they were talking
Dude, it
about.
actually, oh my, it actually is storming. Yo, take cover, everyone. Yo, Arvin, where you going, my small lad? Oh, he is beaming. He is just, he's loving life right now.
You see, happiness in this game is very important. Gotten from having good food, quests, and gear available to the heroes at all times, it increases their chance of surviving a failed quest, also making me happy. But enough of that, the trader had arrived, and selling him some of my resources, I was finally
spell shop.
able to afford a potion
Pay
shop.
to win 1. Spend 50 grand.
Building up a quick structure with a small back room for storage, I placed in the essentials and completed the apothecary.
Let's go. Mortar and pestle.
But wait a minute, I didn't have any herbs for crafting potions. This would result in people expecting potions, and upon realizing that there were none, lowering my reputation. So I just destroyed it. Little did I know, in just a bit, one of my heroes would kill a goblin, defeating the incoming threat, giving me a bunch of money and rewarding me with some herbs. So I
First
headed back to the spell
farm,
shop to
lads.
set up my herb farms, but realized something.
Wait, I'm a moron.
That's right, my plan was to build and expand a herb farm, collect a bunch of herbs, then open the shop. But I can't build the herb farms without the shop, and I couldn't before while I had the shop because they require 4 herbs each. Another L in the Red TM logbook. While I diligently waited for more money to come in to fund a new damn spell shop, I crafted some armor, helmets, noticed a new imminent
2
threat,
more goblins.
welcomed some visitors and compared each of my heroes' stats. Ferduin came out on top with 145 enemies slain.
Perduin's my goat. No fear for loaf.
Anyways, I was collecting my leather farms when a big money opportunity appeared.
That's a big request, dude.
I submitted the food and herb, but still needing some more cloth. I set up some useful quests on priority, but luckily, I didn't even need the king for a new spell shop, as just 2 quick transactions later, I had 1,700 in the bank. I flew over to the Baron's store and placed down the workstation. I was finally where I was 3 days ago. Cooking up 2 wisdom potions to keep the patrons happy, I made some quests for cloth gathering while my herbs were being collected. Once they finally arrived in my hands, I rushed back over and placed down the herb farm.
Let's go. First farm down, bro.
Now I had proper infrastructure, I decided it was time to invest in another hero class. But talking to the weapons master, I realized I couldn't afford it. I didn't have enough royal token things. But as you can tell, I didn't know this at the time.
What? Why, bro? Wait, I can't afford it?
You can get royal tokens from having heroes with intelligence or a training ground. I didn't have that yet, but my depression would not last long, as my first season summary was available.
Season summary, 82.
Hey! Seasons last 15 days, and the year begins in summer, ending in spring, but they don't really change gameplay at all. Heading up to the blacksmith, I saw how many resources I had, and decided to craft up a bunch of swords, getting an upgrade along the way, giving me 5 royal tokens. That's right, there was a third way of getting them. Unfortunately, the weapons master was long gone by this point, but I was happy regardless. And flying to the apothecary, I placed down another herb farm.
Nice, bro. I have 2 farms going now.
Crafting a potion, I placed some displays in the blacksmith, as well as in the tanner to increase my reputation, and was looking in the upgrades menu when I found a cloth farm.
Generates local jute farm. Unlock tailor.
Marking a tailor shop where a cloth farm could be placed. As my next goal, I cooked up some ice cream and waited for my farms to produce.
Herb garden is ready. Let's go. Wait. Stop. No, I cannot disappoint Ferduin, bro. I can't disappoint my boy.
Desperate to keep my lad happy, I crafted some last minute potions, placed some further decorations around the town, and created a cute little fenced area for my leather farms.
Oh my, this is just wonderful, bro. I just got like a little garden here. Ah, this is just so wonderful.
I may have lost a large amount of funds, but my town was looking immaculate. But of course, still wanting to waste more, I expanded the back of the store for a little extra storage, placed another herb garden, and placed my sights once again on a tailor shop. So I headed over to the right island to check the real estate prices, and was surprised to see I had been given one for free.
Did I like win a Mr. Beast giveaway or something?
Taking advantage, I collected the most expensive plot on the map.
Oh boys, yeah, let's go.
Finally, selecting a bunch of different armor, I named my new class.
Large lad.
But when I tried to recruit, I couldn't afford the services. I had spent it all on herb farms. So for now, my main goal was to wait around until I had the sufficient money in my pocket. This was helped by the goblin threat being defeated, giving me 700 gold, but was accompanied by a lady warning me about who was behind the attack.
And the dragon. Play the Lord's minions and gather knowledge to lure them out of their hiding spots.
Eventually, enough people had made purchases to let me afford the large lads, so I recruited them, cooked some food, and was pushed once again into debt thanks to taxes. Luckily, an achievement quickly saved me, and what's more, the weapons master wanted to set up the training grounds in my town. I was planning to use the large free plot I got for that, so for the tailor shop, I checked out the real estate prices once again and purchased a new plot. Completely forgetting why I had just bought the plot, I said hello to the trader and cooked some potions as I reached 2 stars in popularity, and as a storm was forming. This storm stopped most of my sources of income, which quickly came apparent when I once again went into debt. My only chance to stay afloat was map spawning resources, which I had got pretty good at collecting. My environmental exploitation skills are second to none. Okay, maybe second to Darren Woods. But unlike his, my financial situation was looking dire, and my town under threat of being taken away from me. I was relieved to see a line of visitors appearing after the storm had subsided. Someone bought a potion, finally putting me back in the green, which was quickly taken away from me when Valari completed a quest.
Sell, bro. Sell.
I did have a solid 100 gold in the positive now, but the king would only hear of this at midnight, so for now, he was being a little cheeky.
Increase your land upkeep. King's like, oh, this guy's in financial trouble. Let me tax him more. What a bum.
This series of unfortunate events continued when I found Laurus, a small lad, was very unhappy with his current living conditions. How ungrateful. I'm sure karma will take its toll. Anyways, another storm was forming, and being in the financial position I was, this was terrible news. Luckily, I managed to hold on, and the king went back to being relatively happy, and put an end to my personal extra tax. Some not so good news though, was that some red mist was forming.
Red mist is gathering. Some foes have been empowered. Animal, beasts, and goblins.
It just happened that they were currently threatening me. But man, at least it looked cool.
Oh, that's the red mist. And I'm in debt again. Okay.
But, to be honest, this was no laughing matter. You see, I was paying vastly more taxes than I should have been, thanks to the 2 plots of land that belonged to me, but sat empty.
I'm paying tax for this piece of land, by the way.
So I was very relieved when the trader had arrived, who I could happily sell my resources to. Wait a minute, I just sold some fish soup, so I'm completely fine. I don't need to rely on... I sold a bunch of wood, metal, and leather to the trader, giving me a solid 2.5 thousand, which I instantly spent 100 on cooking ice cream, and the rest of the funds on brewing potions. I got some more from making sales and was over at the blacksmith when I got a death notification.
Oh man, what a disaster. Laura's died, bro.
That's right, karma does exist for the great sin of protesting against unfair living conditions. I had also gotten a royal request, but as it asked for food, which was a bit of a scarce resource at the moment, I was forced to ignore it for now. Crafting up some weapons in preparation, I posted a bunch of new quests looking for food, and seeing my desperate spot, folded and bought some rations from the trader at an exuberant price.
Okay, you don't have to rub it in, man. You don't. Oh, 20 fish. Let's go.
Happy with my prize, I cooked some more dishes, harvested my herbs and leather, restocked, and finally decided to use the massive plot I had to my name, placing the training grounds at the very back, where the weapons master could stay permanently. There was no sign of him showing up though, but something else did.
Goblin chieftain.
I was obviously terrified, but seeing as the training grounds unlocked the bed, I expanded the inn further and built 3 up, which could heal injuries and improve morale. No financial benefit though, as I had once again fallen into debt. I was saved by some quality sales, but having nothing to do while my account was still almost empty, I just sat and waited for money to come in. I got a little more than 1,000, got a royal quest which I completed instantly, well and truly digging me out of poverty. On top of this, one of my imminent threats ended, piling on my ever-expanding wallet. So now with a solid amount of disposable income, I returned to the second empty plot and got to work building a nice little shack. But before I put in a tailor, I wanted some large lads to show up. You see, ever since I began their recruitment, there has not been a single sign of the weapons master, and no large lads had shown up at all. I really needed them to buy the weapons I had just sitting there, and to contribute to the economy in general. It was on day 27 that he finally showed up again, but being fed up with him, I instead just admired my strongest battle boy and collected my farms. But there was no real point in continuing to wait for the large lads, so I bit the bullet and placed down the tailor's workplace. Unfortunately, the shop I had built wasn't really big enough, so it looked a little silly, but the reason I wanted a tailor was for the cloth farms, so I placed them down and happily left the premises.
You get some wool for me, bro. I only have 1k left. Oh, at least I'm not in debt.
And that wasn't even the only good news. The very next day, in fact, something amazing happened.
Oh my!
Our first large lad is here.
Very first large lad. Hello, welcome. I'm so happy.
This was just really exciting, so I forgave and returned to the weapons master, where I attempted to create another class, but was too poor. Instead, for Adrian, the new large lad, I opened up the forge and got a bunch of weapons crafting up, one normal and broken.
Wait, what is that, man?
I was quite annoyed, but the mood quickly changed when I was cooking up some dishes and my innkeeper reached the maximum level.
Legendary host.
Man, max level innkeeper. The town was truly growing, and there were surely no unprecedented threats that were coming to take everything from me. That night, the animal beasts invaded and took 1,000 gold, some cloth, and plus my taxes put me in very deep debt. It wasn't looking good. All I could hope for was I had enough goods already to get me back in the white. Luckily for me, some armor and a sword were both sold quickly, allowing me to craft some more goods and also cook up a brilliant plan. You see, I recently realized you can upgrade current classes to make them hold more things.
Okay. I just need 1,000 gold. And then they'll purchase all that. They'll make me rich. And they'll be strong enough to take on the boss. Okay, I got it. I finally understood the video game that I'm playing.
All I needed for that was money, which came my way quickly upon the end of the season.
Reputation upgrade 3. Hey, I'm popular now.
On top of this, I received my season summary, getting a B, and putting my total to 8,500 gold. Not wasting any time, I crafted up another dummy and fully trained up my small lads, battle boys, and large lads. Now with everyone fiending for newly usable gear, I molded some quality swords, couldn't afford armor, so instead headed to the tanner to make some helmets. Opening the menu, I got to work. 6 out of 10 I crafted were broken. This lowers stats, cost, and the morale of heroes owning them, and as such have a low chance of being crafted. So I made 3 more to make up for it. Luckily, the trader showed up who I could sell the broken items to.
So broken. 10 items.
In other news, it was the 1st of winter, day 30, and the day my cloth farms finally produced. So I built another one, restocked, and crafted some bags for my heroes. I also headed over to the blacksmith and finally crafted the heavy armor I was needing. Seeing as my brilliant plan had half worked out and my situation financially was looking fine, I got to work upgrading my stores to make some more money. In particular, there are certain stations and displays that increase morale or sell goods to visitors, which I madly placed around to maximize profits. I had plenty of funds left, so as the first snow of winter fell, I built a huge amount of new various machines and made quests to defeat the incoming threats, except for the chieftain, who was a little strong for my heroes still. So to defeat him, I had 6 days to send some strong lads off. Beginning by collecting my farms, I sent the training dummies to the front road, which are used by random people such as Thevin here to get a higher challenge rating. In general, they were strong enough though to take down the animal beast, so receiving my prize, I got another royal request.
Oh my lord.
That stuff there was tier 2 leather, a substantially harder resource to come across, so ignoring it for now, I collected and expanded my cloth farm, crafted some backpacks, and noticing that my training grounds were really low quality, and wanting more people to be training at any one time, I got to work decorating the area, adding grass, planks, fences, a light post, and some garden lamps, and at that point, my inn ran out of food.
Oh, I have 48 gold, no.
A sword was miraculously sold just in time, and I was happy to return to the grounds, seeing it was now 4 stars in quality. Sure that my heroes were now going to train themselves, I admired my now excessive list of citizens, crafted some new weapons for them, cooked a little, and placed down a transmutation table. We'll get to what that does later. For now, I moved my farms around to fit the new mini selling station, got a little better luck with the helmets, was happy to see the king was taxing me more again, and admired the scenery.
Wow, it's getting really snowy now. Jeez, it's white. This is some dangerous conditions, lads.
They would in fact soon turn into really dangerous conditions for travelers, as a blizzard had just arrived.
Have your first blizzard, that is awesome.
So I began preparation by crafting a whole lot of gear for them to purchase, begun recruitment on a new class eatery, because they gave me a little food each day, brewed some potions with my new huge amount of herbs, and headed over when the trader arrived. I bought some awfully specific items and returned to the tanner. You see, I had gotten myself a leather soaking tub, which gave me the chance to collect higher tier leather from my traps. I also had my eyes on a banner of arms, so I bought the appropriate resources and placed it in the grounds, which gave me an XP boost in that area. Remembering I had a royal request to complete and taking the opportunity, I bought 11 better leather and sent them off, receiving my reward.
And 6.5k. Jeez.
My account was even further filling when the animal beasts were defeated, but there was only one thing on my mind. The goblin chieftain was 2 days away from taking all of my things. My plan to take care of this was simple: expand as quickly as possible, run my account into the ground, so there was nothing left for the chief to steal. Surely, nothing would go wrong. So I got started by expanding my cloth farm and the tailor shop, adding a spacious front room for customers. Purchasing some metal, I placed some new stores within the blacksmith, decorations in the tailor, bought some herbs and sold some wood, and placed a distillery in the potion shop, which would sometimes give me random potions. But you remember the transmutation table, right? It was finally time to use it. Consuming 3 lower tier resources and a solid amount of money, it could fuse it all together to create higher tier items.
Oh, this actually looks sick. Jeez, that is awesome, man.
Squeezing the last of my resources out and crafting weapons, I realized quickly that tax time was here, and I was once again in debt. I was luckily quickly saved though, and realizing the chieftain was only 2 days away, I crafted more things, upgraded my tailor, cooked some more ice cream, collected my farms, and as the snow returned and the night fell, I spent some money at the blacksmith, once again going into debt. And on the last day of spending everything, I transmuted some herbs and brewed my potions, going into debt when Ivan completed a quest.
That's actually kind of perfect, bro. Being in debt 4 hours before the goblin chieftain comes and beats us all up.
I waited until night and stared worryingly at my coin count. The clock struck midnight and... If by tomorrow midnight I was 2,000 or more in debt, it was game over, and it got worse.
Oh no, I have no more heavy armor left. I have no helmets. I have no backpacks. Oh no.
The morale of heroes partly depends on whether quests are available, and because of the 10% upfront payment on quests, I couldn't provide any.
I kind of had the wrong mindset there of spending all my money. Now I'm just in a lot of debt.
I had no choice. I sat myself down at the front of the town entrance and waited until my debt was gone. It only took around half the day, luckily, so desperately trying to gain my lost morale, I crafted some quality backpacks and weaponry, noticed Ferduin had reached 24 challenge rating, made some quests, collected my farms, crafted some helmets, and noticed something.
Alpha pack? Boss? Bro, I didn't even kill the goblins, bro. I'm dead.
And I was also in debt. So after being saved and as the third wave of snow appeared, I headed to the weapons master and decided to train all 4 of my classes to use pauldrons, basically shoulder pads. Flying over to the tanner where you craft them, I made some helmets and 20 pauldrons in an attempt to level up quickly. I failed, but stayed vigilant by collecting my cloth and then was just brewing up some potions when another request appeared.
Bro, what? 16k?
I really needed that 16,000 as I had once again fallen into debt. But alas, my situation was looking dire. 14 tier 3 herb, 9 tier 2 cloth, and 17 tier 3 metal. On top of this, there were 4 incoming threats here to take all of my things. Getting rid of these was top of my priority list, so I set up some quests and checking on my training grounds, I got my 25th hero added to the roster. This put me in a good mood, a giving mood, so I gave every store in my town a new beautiful rug to stand on, or if they're feeling daring, sit on. While doing this, I realized some of my vendors could be upgraded, so I chose some buffs for them, cooked some food and gave some quests, and was hanging out at my tanner when tax time came and I was once again put in debt. On top of this, my food situation was also not looking great, but since everyone would be sad if there was no food available, I rationed out the last of it into 9 bottles of juice. Barely any healing value, but patrons would be happy, so that didn't really matter. Leaving, checking the training grounds, collecting, then replanning my funds, then returning, my food situation had not fixed itself. My money situation had not fixed itself, and I realized just overall, I'd bitten off a little more than I could chew. Luckily, that motivated me further, and I got started in my financial stability project by decorating my apothecary a little, transmuting some tier 2 cloth to deposit into the request, and crafted some swords for my ever-increasing population. But this was when disaster struck. None of my heroes out gathering food had come back, and my 9 juices had unfortunately run out. So I quickly got to work. You see, around the map, there are large mushrooms scattered around, spawning periodically, and upon collection, could give a small but existing amount of food. Getting a solid 12 from this, I once again stretched these out as far as I could, and upon leaving, my reputation reached glamorous.
Hey.
This meant my questing limit had increased to 30, so a little overwhelmed, I spammed out a bunch of quests for food and metal, watched as the kobolds were abolished, and wanting some better potions, transmuted some herbs. This allowed me to brew some potions of haste, very expensive but probably necessary, seeing the ominous red mist and the snow piling everywhere. A blizzard was approaching. Now, this was pretty bad news because I was still starving all of my residents, but while the blizzard passed, I spent some time crafting weapons and armor at the tanner, but was amazed when as soon as the blizzard ended, a storm started to form. Luckily, the trader was already here, so I unwillingly bought some food, and after checking my royal quest, I was set on buying the 14 purple herbs I needed. Unfortunately, I clicked sell material instead of buy, and seeing this pop up, I decided that it must have been too expensive.
How do I get it then? Wait, there's actually just no way of me getting it in that case.
And I did the exact same thing with the metal as well. What a complete dumbass. Nonetheless, I spent all of my money on just 11 of these bars, deposited them, and at this point, slightly regretting what I had gotten myself into. To increase my mood, I decided to use up all of the regrade stones I had collected throughout the last 45 days, and got to work leveling a bunch of my daggers to legendary, which would greatly increase the challenge rating and morale of my heroes, as well as giving small buffs such as, while in town, increase the chance of legendaries by 2%. I also wanted upgraded backpacks, but seeing as they were all broken, I headed to the tailor and got some crafting. And once I was done, used the last of my stones, for tier 1 at least, to upgrade them as far as possible, getting my first legendary backpack. Wanting them to sell quickly, I set some quests on priority and noticed that Nilfia, the OG lad, had arrived back in town.
Jeez, he's just striding, bro. My boy is just living life.
Wanting him to get a better weapon, I waited until the animal beasts went down and with my new funds, crafted some swords, meeting Logthar at the blacksmith.
Logthar, about to buy one, bro.
I've had better backpacks.
Well, little bro, I've had better heroes, okay? Calm down.
Needing to prove myself right, I transmuted some metal bars and returned to craft up some tier 2 weapons. These are basically more expensive, but much better than tier 1s. Even a normal tier 2 could do more than a legendary first tier. I had also decided to make some offhand swords with these materials, because basically all of my classes used them. And a couple of hours later, it was the 1st of spring. I was taxed, and some bad news arrived.
Pyros died? I don't know who that is.
Luckily, this was quickly overshadowed when my season summary was opened.
Hey, let's go. $10,000, bro. Oh my.
And so I wasted no time in wasting all of my funds and purchased the last plot on the map, leaving to instead craft some broken weapons. I transmuted more metal, cooked some food, and realized that at this point I had a solid population. All of my early constructed infrastructure was finally coming in handy. My financial situation was looking good for the first time, and the funds I was holding was 1/3 of that I had on day 1. Still wanting to use them, I made a tier 2 heavy armor, some tier 1s, and returning to the empty plot, I got to work building my final store Thor the Woodworker. The Woodworker unlocked bows, magic staves, polearms, and shields, so I returned to the Weapons Master to begin recruitment on my 5th class, the Magician, which would hold a magic staff and a magic focus.
Anyways, either this. No, I think it's this. Because they're good lads. They're not evil. This is evil wizard. This is awesome wizard.
Needing to gear up in anticipation of the Magician's arrival, I crafted up a bunch of pauldrons, helmets, and magic focus in the tailor. I realized I was low on medium armor, so I went over to craft some, finally arriving at the Woodworker, where I made some beautiful magic staves. I managed to upgrade the vendor, but noticing my metal deficiency, I let it be. Instead, heading around the map for the 8,000th time to collect all of the natural spawning metal scattered around. With 11 in the bank, I arrived at the blacksmith and seeing my gear was running low, spent it all on swords. And with 2 of my resources running out and higher tier 1 still out of sight, I got to work scrolling through all of the stations I wanted, such as the Saw Station and Iron Mine, which upgraded the loot from the naturally spawning map resources, marked down these needed materials for when the trader arrived. Once I was done, I spent some time decorating the woodworker's store to kill time, finding a fireplace that I really liked, to the point I placed it in both the inn and the blacksmith, saw that the trader had arrived, so checking the royal request and selling my broken gear, using my immense funds, I purchased all of the metal and the herbs I needed, making a solid 16,000 gold.
Let's go. I'd like to think I made money off that deal.
I really wanted to spend it, but seeing my leather count was 0, I completely forgot about the stuff I marked down, instead buying some leather, crafting some backpacks, remembering about the stuff I had marked down, splurging even more, and placing down a beer barrel I had gotten them for, which would periodically provide me with alcohol. Moving on, I brewed some potions and shipped them off to visitors, getting my visitor approval up, which would provide a 10% boost in sales. The visitors were happy, the heroes were happy, the trader was certainly happy, and as I placed down some new training grounds gear, new tailor machines, some compost stacks to increase herb garden quality, and the iron mine, I was very happy. The morale was high. But not for long. You see, there were 5 days until the Alpha Pack, the Animal Beasts boss, came and beat me up. The way to stop it was to send appropriately strong heroes to the boss den to defeat it, but unfortunately, as it stood, all of my heroes were too weak. My plan, get them stronger weapons. I made a couple tier 2s, but quickly ran low on metal, so I set up a bunch of prioritized metal quests for all challenge rating heroes, and while I waited, was forced to forge some pretty trash daggers to keep the population happy. I continued with this goal by upgrading my potion shop, unlocking some strange looking flasks, completing a visitor order, and returning to the inn. There, I placed some new beds and checked the buffs, which hadn't changed it at all.
No, is it still 13? Do more beds even do anything? Did I just waste all that money?
So I moved one away, wanting to replace it with a recycling machine, which didn't work, so I tried placing it everywhere, eventually as a last-ditch effort, building a whole new miniature house in the training grounds, where I could luckily actually place it inside. This would allow me to break down any gear into its core materials. Able to now relatively safely craft any armor or weapons I wanted, I was happy to continue to upgrade the quality of my shops. Arriving at the woodworker, I built 2 new displays, a ranged training dummy in the grounds, and created some more metal quests. You see, I was still stressing about both my lack of metal and the incoming beast boss, which defeating it didn't seem like an option. Luckily, some lads came back from the metal quest, allowing me to craft some stronger weapons, and seeing my regrade stone count, I got upgrading.
Hey, if you don't succeed 3, successfully upgrade 30 items.
I was able to get 2 legendaries.
Let's go, 2 legendaries, bro.
But knowing even if a hero got the weapon, they couldn't save me from Beast Boy, I simply expanded my farms, receiving more metal and returning to the blacksmith, where I miraculously raw crafted a legendary.
Let's go, legendary. Sheesh. Made for greatness.
This grand luck did not in fact continue in the Tanner, as I crafted a bunch of helmets and pauldrons, moved just next door to decorate my potion shop. You see, my popularity was really high and I had everything I needed except shop quality. This is determined by the level of the shopkeeper, decoration, basic requirements, and store displays. I was struggling with this one, as there were only 1 or 2 unique displays available per shop, and I didn't really understand how to get 3 or 4. But today, I realized you can place more than 1 of each, getting my potion shop to almost 5 stars. This was truly a great revelation. So I got to work filling the Tanner up with displays, the blacksmith with armor displays, and was stopping by the grounds to spectate a dude when a certain someone appeared.
Wait, Goblin Chieftain's back. I can actually roll him now. He's done for, bro. Goblin Chieftain about to get sat on.
In a great mood now, I placed decor in the tailor and in the woodworker, and wanting to fill the shield display, I crafted some, even though no one had used them. My overall popularity was now looking good. I headed to the potion shop to brew some things when my hard work finally paid off.
Onto that. Master Alchemist, what did I do? Oh, yes, you just need to sell something. Let's go. 5-star.
All I had to do was to wait in scared anticipation for the animal beast to mug me, and being mindful to keep a decent sum for it to steal, I continued with my day-to-day endeavors, beginning by transmuting some metal, checked my now very positive popularity, and used the iron to craft my tier 2 weapons. I also visited the tanner, but didn't make anything as my leather farm was finally too weak to fully uphold my consumption rate. So I bought some from the trader, transmuted some for the purpose of crafting some tier 2 helmets. Having some time to kill now, while I waited for my leather farms, I decided to try to get my visitor approval up higher. Scrolling through the available quests, I didn't find any easy ones, so instantly I gave up, returning to crafting gear until finally, after harvesting a bunch of my farms, brewing a bunch of potions to keep everyone happy, and cooking up a bunch of ice cream, the king made another request.
32 grand. That's only tier 2 wood. I can do that. And herb is really easy. 135 meat though. Of course I'll accept it, but like...
As optimistic as I sounded just then, this may have turned out to be a terrible idea. You see, meat being a tier 4 resource, I couldn't send anyone out to get them, so I let it be a problem for future me, because right now I had some problems of my own, mainly stemming from the animal beast boss currently outside my door, and the only preparations I could do was stacking myself up with resources, so my inevitable death wouldn't be so devastating. Night slowly fell as I once again met Regenhild.
Jeez, eat up my G. Legendary rare. Oh my. My lad is stacked.
I sat accepting my fate, worryingly waiting for the game over screen, when...
I didn't even lose at all, bro.
A goofy little boss took a little less than 3,000 gold and 8 pieces of meat. This was truly a relieving moment. In a far better mood now, I headed to the tailor and managed to raw craft a legendary backpack. And with a still huge amount of resources that weren't taken by Beast Boy, I also spammed out a bunch of helmets, worried about the request.
This meat, bro. That's crazy that you're actually asking that from me.
And seeing my small amount of tier 3 metal, I decided to give a tier 3 sword a go.
Please don't break, bro. Normal sort of excavation, bro.
And since it was a special moment, I used the majority of my tier 3 re-red stones on getting it to legendary status.
Hey, legendary! That took a stupidly long amount of time.
Taking my mind off it, I collected my farms and returned to the blacksmith to craft a bunch of tier 2 heavy armor, and was about to transmute when I got my very first level 8 hero.
Reached level 8 with the hero? Jeez. Velari is also my goat, bro. Charge rating 30. Oh my lordy lord, bro.
I decided Velari deserved a new helmet, so I opened the tanner and once again crafted a raw legendary. Returning to the transmuting table, I got some higher tier herbs, which I used to brew some more potions until the store inventory was filled. So I moved on, was worried to see my visitor approval had returned to being neutral, so I got to work cooking up some dishes and completing a quest, unfortunately not changing a thing. Turning my sights to making my townsfolk happy, I sent a bunch off on metal gathering quests as the tier 2 and 3 weapons were extremely strenuous on my wallet and stockpiles. Spending the last of my metal on forging weapons, I happily recycled the broken ones along with any other broken gear I had accumulated. Something I hadn't accumulated, on the other hand, was meat. Luckily the trader had arrived, so I sold some of my more excessive items and checked the meat price.
Ooh.
The thing about the price is, well, it increases every time you purchase. So instead, I bought the herbs and regretted my choices. I literally wrote in my live notes, how am I supposed to get that much meat? Lol. Accepting my fate to become in a similar financial situation to innkeeper Rian.
How is my boy this deep in debt, bro? This is not $7,000 in debt. This is not $7,000 in goods, bro. Where's your money going? How?
I scrolled through my heroes in a melancholy mood when I found something amazing.
Oh, magician.
I followed them into the woodworker where they bought a staff and gave it a try.
Whoa. Yo, what? Damn, bro. Oh my lord. This poor shopkeeper. Poor artisan Darim, bro.
Now that I was sure magicians could be showing up at any point, I harvested my farms, crafted some tier 2 daggers, 4 broken ones and 1 raw legendary, recycled the broken ones, forged some tier 2 large lad swords and offhand swords, and once again recycled the broken ones, flew to the tanner and got a bunch of pauldrons woven. And being a higher overall level now, it was common to see legendaries just being crafted.
Pads.
Proud owner of the pads, I sent a bunch more quests out for the goblin chieftain who was nearing defeat, placed a nice decoration, and using the last of my food, I cooked up some delectable sweet juice. Heading to the grounds to recycle, I met Kalina along the way and was lucky enough to witness a magic staff user in action.
Damn.
She wandered off after like 15 seconds, and forgetting about my recycling plans, I got spooked when a new boss appeared.
Cobalt Leader.
Surprisingly, my heroes were easily prepared to take down this absolute goofball, so I wasn't stressed whatsoever, instead waiting patiently for the Goblin Chieftain to be defeated.
Yes! Oh, let's go! This is my land. Get out of here, Goblin Chieftain, bro.
I got a bunch of money, food, and some daily quests, which basically respawned every time they were taken, but nothing else. Expecting some further prize in the near future, I cooked up a huge amount of fruitcake, greeted my second wizard.
Yo, what's good, bro? Goated wizard right now. Wizard from Clash of Clans, bro.
Made some more magic focus for them, and after crafting up basic gear to keep the population happy, I greeted the Weapon Master with the goal of a 5-star grounds. What I needed was 3 more hero classes, so I first created a shield-wielding heavy with the Constitution attribute, basically stopping failed threats from taking so much. Then I created the double dagger wielding Rat Boy, and finally decided I couldn't be bothered and probably left. Now that I had a bunch more classes asking for a bunch new gear, I got to work crafting the things that they needed, including shields at the woodworker and capes at the tailor. Noticing my farms were ready, I headed over, but received some sad news.
No, someone died. Era, I don't know who that is, to be honest. I don't really care.
That wasn't the only news though. Sam the trader had returned with a reward for slaying the goblin boss.
Hello there, I have some exciting news to share with you. You're offering to open trade routes that can bring you prosperous rewards. And to get started, head to your Titan ledger and complete the trade route task.
Checking my ledger, the task at hand was to complete 2 imminent threats. I had 2 pretty close, so putting my mind of it, I remembered once again the royal quest I had so diligently accepted. I had 64 pieces of meat right now, and with the price already inflated to triple the original, it wasn't looking good. But I bit the bullet.
All my money. I spent so much.
That's right, I spent 28,000 gold in a couple of seconds. I saved up a little more, spent a further 3,000 on the wood I needed, sat around feeling like a ball of gloop, doing absolutely nothing until I had a further 6,000 in the bank, eventually throwing it all at Sam the fraud.
Oh, let's go. I have enough. Deposit complete. I'm in debt.
I deposited, went into debt, and collected my funds. I received 32,000 in total. The amount I spent on purchasing the meat plus the herbs plus the wood came out to 41,600 gold. Accepting this request may have been the worst business decision I had ever made. Luckily, while playing, I actually thought I made a profit, so I was happy, and this mood was accentuated when I crafted some tier 3 helmets, managing to get 2 raw legendaries within 3 crafts.
What is my luck?
Just in general, this was a great way to finish off the year, as one had just passed.
Timeless. Play through a whole year. Year 1 completed, lads. Oh, someone died. That's tragic.
I got a solid B on my season summary, and wanting to start the new year well on day 60, I made a bunch new quests looking for metal, crafted a bunch new weapons, upgraded my blacksmith, brewed a bunch of potions, recycled a bunch of gear, and was leisurely cooking when I realized that my innkeeper was 21,000 gold in debt.
21,000 gold, bro. 22,000 now. How'd you just go 1,000 more in debt?
Yeah, you know what? You're right. I mean, I've never been in debt. Anyways, apparently, I had defeated enough threats to get the trade route, so I unlocked it. It basically took the selected resources and supplied a piece of gear in around half a day. So I selected the blacksmith and got started. Now, my town's infrastructure in general was solid at this point. I had farms for all farmable things and high-level shops. But in terms of decoration, I certainly wasn't amazing, and this was exactly what I wanted to change now. So I got to work placing some trees and such around the apothecary, but was interrupted when the Cobalt leader was defeated.
Cobalt boss down. Exterminator. 55,000? I can't be stopped, man.
Getting back to business, I placed some trees, flooring, benches, and a bunch of grass around the woodworkers to make a cute little area. Moved on to the tailor where I placed a tree, another farm, some planks, a shop sign, and a lamppost. The Cobalt leader had also provided another trade route for me, which asked for 15 items to be recycled. Not wanting to do that at all, I decided to renovate the inn once again.
Okay, I added another room. This one is for beer.
I needed a whole bunch of wheat for these new kegs, so I bought it all along with some other resources and excitedly decorated the bedroom a little along with the main drinking room before finally building up an army of 6 infinite beer sources. Returning to my outside decorating quest, I got to work spicing up the in front yard with grass and small magic lanterns before leaving for the time being to craft up some gear. When I was done with that, I noticed one of my heroes had an impressive 39 challenge rating, so I went for a quick visit.
The Tanner is amazing. Oh my my lord. You're amazing, dude. You're not even stacked that much. God damn, bro.
More invigorated than ever to supply my lads with strong gear, I harvested then restocked my farms before heading outside to transmute. You see, now that I'd taken care of some of the bosses, I could now transmute to tier 3, so grabbing a bunch of tier 2 herbs, I made them all purple. This allowed me to brew some pretty serious potions, which I was pretty stoked about. Crafting a whole lot of tier 2 offhand swords, daggers, and heavy armor, I was basically set in terms of gear for the time being, and having a bunch of broken ones, I recycled them for the trade route. But I still needed 4 though, so after moving around the lamps outside the inn, collecting some beer and adding some stockpiles, I weaved a bunch of helmets, then returned to the grounds to recycle some gear, unlocking the second trade route. I set it to the tanner, then decided on a whim to return to the inn and complete a full backyard for them, adding all kinds of trees, grasses, fences, flower beds, benches, and well, the overall product was something I was really proud of.
The inn is complete. Yep. Nice.
At this point, my reputation was at 93.87 out of 100, with overall shop quality being my only downfall, and although maximum reputation was a bit of a silly goal, getting close was certainly possible. So I went around checking a bunch of stores and checking the quality, and after doing some quick transmuting of herbs, brewing of potions, and making of pauldrons, I headed up to my training grounds. This was because I just needed one more active class, and it would be 5 stars.
Bow quiver, medium armor, headgear pauldrons. Archer from Clash of Clans. Archer from
Adding a badge
Not
and an
American,
attribute upon exiting, I was greeted by an achievement.
Hey, let's go.
Decorating the area a little more just for the fun of it, I spent some time brewing and cooking for a visitor's request before realizing the innkeeper was a little bit in debt.
31,000. Oh, how, bro?
This didn't really make much sense, but it didn't matter while I was stupidly rich, so continuing on completing the visitor's requests, I brewed and crafted a bunch of gear until the night of the 69th, when, for better or for worse, the king made another request.
Oh, no, request. 49,000. I don't think I can do this genuinely.
This was actually a tough decision. Do you see how my cursor is wary of the meat? This may have been a terrible idea, but for now, I was chilling, leisurely cooking, spectating my heroes, and scrolling through my quest board. This was because I had a plan. It basically consisted of...
Yo! 50 heroes, let's go, dude.
Anyways, I quickly harvested all of my farms and crafted some gear before finally deciding that the blacksmith in its current state was just too much of an eyesore. So I moved the forge, made a long stone fence, and got to work planting trees around the place, bushes and grass, then finally adding garden lamps in the foliage. Happy with it for now, I moved on to placing some stockpiles in the tanner, crafting some backpacks, and after admiring my strongest hero, the Alpha Pack, was finally defeated.
Let's go, Alpha Pack down. Big game hunter.
Life was good on day 71. I could happily just set quests and harvest my farms. That is until the trader returned. I spent a quick and easy 20,000 on meat, reaching a relatively impressive 100, but still needing 50 more. My basic plan was just to hope the trader would leave and come back within the time limit, which would reset the meat price. It would be close, but worth it. In the meantime, I got my visitor approval to excellent, collected my beers, sold some of my resources back to the trader, and completed the Alpha Pack trade route, which asked for 15 items to be crafted. I set it up to supply my tailor and was visiting the training grounds when I once again got the devastating black notification.
Lucius. I don't know who that is. Days of Life 0. Jeez, he just did not do anything.
I guess everyone has different ways of grieving. Mine was to transmute a huge amount of metal to tier 3, then deposit them to the king in order to make profit. Still in a very serious state of shock, I thought of the stupid idea that maybe recycling a legendary weapon would unlock some sort of secret achievement. It certainly did not. During this time, I hadn't been paying real attention to my imminent threats and unfortunately fell victim to a kobold attack that night, losing 900 gold and 3 pieces of wood. How devastating. So I proceeded to spend 10 times that on a couple of potions, and after collecting my farms was able to defeat the 20th imminent threat.
Can't touch this too.
But the one that was scarier was this one. Luckily for me, the trader had arrived again, so it was time to empty my pockets.
150. And now I need 12 of these bars. Oh man, that was expensive. Deposit. Complete. Let's go. And season summary. Hey, let's go. I got an A.
Wow. They call me Elon Musk. I was now well and truly financially stable, a far throw from where I was just 30 days ago. And you may have even realized that I bought 10 extra of the tier 4 bars. Knowing the great power they held, I quickly transmuted a bunch of resources, making some tier 3 gear and choosing some quests for more and more precious resources. I opened the forge and decided to craft 2 tier 4 offhand swords, the strongest in the game.
Epic, bro. Oh my, this is hype. I'm about to upgrade it to legendary, bro.
And using just 1 stone, I got 1 to legendary.
Hey, legendary, bro.
The second, on the other hand, took the rest of my supply. The bad news continued with another unfortunate demise.
Wait, no, Nagthar died? I feel as if I recognize that name.
It turns out I was gaslighting myself, but at this point in time, my town was really something grand. My financial situation was looking fine, and my only worry was my metal supply. I thought nothing could go wrong. You must have expected something to go wrong, right? Nope. At this point, I'm untouchable. Spending my days tending to my farms, crafting random pieces of gear, just being extremely rich in general, transmuting items for higher quality crafts, crafting higher quality crafts, until I decided on day 80 that a 5-star blacksmith was now my main goal, and I could probably get one by having max level in every aspect. I currently had only offhand swords max, so I quickly finished off dagger, built some stockpiles for extra storage, and maxed out one-handed swords as well. Running a little dry on resources now, I transmuted a bunch of metal and crafted 7 tier 3 two-handed swords. I didn't even get close to upgrading, so I decided to put that project on the back burner. I received another royal request on the night of day 81.
The leather's the only problem. I can leather out.
While the trader was still around, I quickly purchased a couple of the needed resources for it, and while I was making some quests for the leather part of the request, the Orc Warlord decided to show his grimy face.
Orc Warlord.
It turned out that I needed 51 challenge rating to take it down, and I currently had a max of 48, so no stress. Instead, I spectated one of my lads for a little bit before returning to the blacksmith to complete my decorating job, adding pathways, more grass, some lamps, and benches to create a nice walking garden. But I couldn't forget about the request I'd been given, so I wasted no time in also beginning to work on that. First, transmuting a bunch of wood and depositing it along with a bunch of metal, but not quite enough. Luckily, I had plenty of time, just needing to wait until my heroes naturally gained enough power to fight until the Orc Boy. So I wasted some by sitting and spectating Othwald, my strongest small lad, with a rating of 48.
He's going to train, bro?
After watching Othwald training away, I transmuted some wood, bought some from the trader, collected some leather, then once again opened the forge and crafted up 7 tier 4 offhand swords, which would surely let them reach their true potential. I also met Nilfir again, my very first small lad and hero in general, who had an impressive 50 challenge rating to their name. While I waited, some pretty silly things happened as well, like me accidentally creating a bug where you can place beer kegs inside of other beer kegs.
What? What is this? How do I report a bug, bro?
Talk about compact storage. Very cool. I spent the rest of the night playing around with the camera feature in game, as if an Orc Warlord wasn't imminently going to attack. To stop this from happening, I opened a bunch of quests to defeat the Orc Boy, then returned to my quest of getting 5-star blacksmith. Crafting a bunch of offhand daggers to reach tier 3, I recycled all the broken gear I had, and flew over to the tanner to craft some medium armor, and then after transmuting for some extra resources, I also crafted a bunch of quivers, before heading to the woodworker and crafting some magic staves. My royal quest time was quickly running out though, so I was happy to see the trader arrive, purchasing a whole bunch of leather and wood, depositing them and collecting my reward.
Jeez, 200,000.
Wanting to spend it, I returned to the blacksmith where my two-handed swords were close to max level, so I forged some, getting a legendary and reaching my goal. I only had offhand daggers left, and as you can see, 25 crafts available. 10 down, and the experience wasn't looking good, but unbelievably, I got a raw legendary, and then another legendary, and then this happened. Oh well, that's all my luck for today. I bought the last of the wood I needed, and then crafted the last of the daggers I needed.
What? That's just silly, bro. Oh my, that's just silly.
And with that, I got the 5-star blacksmith.
Hey, Master Smith, 5 stars. I spent a lot on that. It was probably worth it.
My insane luck continued when I decided to craft a bunch of tier 4 backpacks to make my heroes stronger, getting, once again, another legendary. The reason I was getting all of this gear was because the Orc dude was coming in quickly, and unfortunately, he had full health. This didn't matter though, as I got another achievement, Bookkeeper.
Oh. Gather 15,000 resources of any kind.
My main goal at this point was just to get my heroes as strong as possible, so I spent the rest of the autumn trying to do that exact thing, crafting weapons and leveling them as well as cooking high quality food. My efforts paid off as well, as my season summary came back as an A.
Hey, let's go. 6k, that just does nothing at all, unfortunately.
What I really needed was heroes to defeat the orc boss, who was just standing there very menacingly. Unfortunately, since I put up the job posting, basically everyone was already out and was just now returning home. Very worried now, seeing the 3 days left on the clock, I decided it was best to ignore them for now and ran around the map gathering resources, getting achievement along the way.
Piggy Gatherer 3.
Really needing strong lads now, I spent a pretty irresponsible amount of money over at the traders buying high tier materials, which I used to create some very strong gear. I ran out of space though, so I decided to recycle every single one of my offhand daggers, which took a surprising amount of time. Feeling a little bad, I crafted some back when I got another royal request.
Oh man, 6 days as well, bro.
Ultimately, it was a small request, so I accepted. Spending some more money on hero's strength, I realized quickly I may have spent a little too much now, seeing how much I owed to the currently questing lads. So to help them out, I wanted a 5-star Tanner. Within the Tanner, quivers were the last item I didn't have at tier 4. So I crafted a bunch, recycled them all, returned and crafted a whole lot more. Pretty quickly, reaching tier 3, I realized I had completely forgotten about the Orc Warlord.
No. That sucks. He took nothing.
I'd come out completely unscathed, so I went back to crafting quivers, getting a decent way in, quickly crafting some quests, and tending to the rest of my town before returning to craft some more. Whenever there were space issues, I ran straight over to the recycler and grinded them all up, repeating these simple steps until I got the amazing 5-star Tanner.
Level 5 Tanner. Let's go. 96.57, wow.
I remembered there was a royal quest I had accepted, so I headed over to Sam the trader, but before purchasing, found something I hadn't seen before, a chest I could buy using royal tokens.
Open the resource chest to find any of the following. Wait, I can gamble?
They did unfortunately get exponentially more expensive though, so I quickly left. For the request though, I probably lost money again buying it all, but eventually deposited and collected my reward.
Okay, nice. Complete though. At least it's complete.
With only 2 days left now, I happily saw 2 threats go down in close proximity and got spooked when 2 bosses suddenly appeared.
Wait, I have 2 bosses coming. Bandit Leader and Orc Warlord, bro. I already have 1 more day left, so it's chill. Let's go.
And finally, it was day 100. I began by aimlessly flying around, crafting some backpacks, potions, and food, but upon finding Nilfia, the second one, I decided to follow him around until the time ticked to tomorrow. And as I attempted to head over to the original hero Nilfia, the small lad, the day ended. And so, watching the very first hero in this world, that was 100 days in a hero's rest. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to help with my goal of 100,000, and also consider supporting the game, you know, it's pretty fun.